I hope you all can hear me. I put a mic on for you, and no one is here in the live at the moment. So I am going to talk just a little bit a little bit about what we're going to talk about today. Everything is going to kind of be off the cuff. I am going to log in to my YouTube channel so I can view your comments. Let's see. And I'm gonna kind of leave it at that. It looks like I have one viewer, but that one viewer may be me. Who knows? If you're on the live, when you get on, and make sure you say hi. Make sure you thumbs up this video even after I may post this. Hi. If you're unfamiliar with me, my name is LaToya Ebony Searles. I'm the founder and CEO of Someday Sunday. Someday Sunday is a plant-based body care brand rooted in self-care, the ritual of self-care. And I created this company for many reasons. One, because the first time I ever thought about what I was going to put on my skin was when I was pregnant with my son. And I had went through a natural hair journey, which is on a second YouTube channel called LaToya Ebony Hair. And that was the first time I really thought about what I was putting on my scalp. And so I transitioned from all of the attention being on my hair and my scalp to what is going on in my body. I became certified in organic skincare formulation. I studied for about 3 years, and it was a long journey because I had moved during my studies. I had moved from Los Angeles to Kansas City. I had gone through some bodily, should I just say it, gone through a couple of miscarriages. I had pivoted careers from being a professional actress and landing in Kansas City and going, you know what, I'm gonna finish this certification. Eventually, I got to the point where I wanted to start a company, and the idea was birthed in January 2020. And within 7 months, I had my entire brand, my formula, my packaging, all of the things, and I was doing my first pop-up. So that is, hi, whoever's watching. So that is a little bit about my story. And on this channel, LaToya Ebony, I chronicle my journey from ideation of Someday Sunday all the way through, like, basically just documenting the journey, not necessarily as an expert, but sharing as I go along, kind of the way that I did with my natural hair channel. And my natural hair channel, I've amassed over 100,000 followers, and that is my third YouTube channel. So I did it once before on a separate channel, and then I transitioned over to this channel and garnered a following talking about natural hair, the science of natural hair, and it started literally with just my journey. And I want to talk today not only about my own personal journey, but I want to talk about Colé and my thoughts about it as a fellow beauty founder. Whilst I am preparing the lip butter after a launch that I did for Pineapple Sunrise, which is my new collection. So I'll be here in the lab doing what I do, looking at the chat to see if anyone is, gonna log on. So, hi. After the spiel is over, I've got a small batch of lip butter. So we launched lip butter in stick form after doing the jars for almost an entire year. And what I have here is just like the remainings of a small batch, like a small batch of like 66 lip butter. I have this holder that I got from Amazon. I got Kimtech wipes, which I use in order to wipe things down without causing lint. I got these also from Amazon. I'm going to be using a heater, a handheld mini heat gun. A lot of people use this for smoothing the tops of candles, lip balm, lip butter. We call it lip butter because it feels more like a butter than a balm, but this sort of medium of product melts really well with a heat gun, and it allows me to kind of control to kind of control how hot I can get this. So these holders are going to kind of keep things in place, and I'm just going to talk. And if you have any questions, if you have any comments, feel free to chime in. Actually, let me go ahead and play a little bit of music, because there are going to be times where I I'm filming me doing this. There are going to be times where I'm not going to be talking. I like listening to lo-fi. How y'all doing? Now, I kind of had this discussion on my other channel, my hair channel. I just was in Florida, and I impromptu logged on and started talking. So let's get into it. Ami Colé. I want to say her first name is pronounced Diadia, and she is Senegalese, excuse me. She is a Black-owned founder, and she just announced through a Cut magazine, through Cut, hold on, let me make sure this isn't too loud, that she's closing her business in September of this year, which at the time of filming this is 2 months from now. August, September, yes. I don't know when in September she's shutting things down, but it came as a shock to a lot of people. As you know, she's pretty much one of the success stories. You know, she is one of 30 at the time Black female founders who got funded over $1 million, which is rare. She came into that funding in 2020 during the whole Black Lives Matter rebirth. And a lot of past investors who previously turned her down circled back around because they wanted in on the initiative and probably better understood the challenges that a lot of Black founders go through with lack of funding and all the things, and, you know, probably a feel-good moment. Like, I don't know, but I have listened to a few interviews of Diadia. I hope I'm saying her name correctly. And she seems like a very intelligent woman. I don't think that this will be the last of her or like anything that she does. She actually has quite a bit of street cred working with Glossier. She may have even worked with L'Oreal. She's worked with a couple of very large Timbuktu, which I remember back in the day, Timbuktu was like spray makeup. I actually had, I think, a Timbuktu machine. So she's kind of like been in the business for a really long time. Her story was about, like, kind of started with a company in 2014, getting a logo created, and sort of like dreaming of what it would be like to have her own brand, but she didn't actually start or launch her brand until much later. I want to say 2019-ish or something. And she got her funding within, what, a year and a half of launching, which is very hard to do as a Black-owned business, a solopreneur, because many times investors are looking for partnerships, and less than 1% of capital goes to Black-owned businesses. So it was a really, like, great success story. She landed in Sephora after winning like best beauty brand founder or something of the year. She had like a call with Sephora months prior, and she was in Senegal at the time, and the call dropped, and they just sort of, you know, she had bad internet connection. They didn't really give her the time of the day afterward. They sort of, I guess, dismissed her, and it wasn't until she was winning the award that a few of key people from Sephora team were in the audience and were like, look, we love you. We love your brand. We don't know what happened with the disconnect, but we want to write you a check. And thus she launched into Sephora, you know, in like, I think starting with like 200 stores and then expanding to 600 stores within like 16 months or something like that. if I can remember the article correctly. So the girl is a success story. And so for me, the brand is a success story. I mean, she obviously is successful and super smart herself. It was shocking to me that I had never heard of Ami Colé. She's in Sephora. You would think, okay, like Sephora's going to do this big push. Now, I did see 2 years ago, probably when they first launched in Sephora, that Sephora did do like an interview. I think it's called like Why I Built This or Why I Started This or something like that, where she did get to tell her story. I'm still in the middle of watching that. But that got maybe like 6,000 views. So there are so many thoughts that I have about this Ami Colé situation and her the founder deciding to close down the brand and all the things. And sort of like, I guess I can speculate from my point of view and then also what I know from the business, myself as a founder, and also listening to other founders in the CPG space, which is consumer packaged products, or the direct-to-consumer space, those who sell directly to consumers rather than having a B2B business, which is a business that sells to businesses and then the other business sells to a consumer. So she sort of had a B2C line of communication with her audience through her website, but she also had a B2B, being in Sephora and sort of like tapping into Sephora's audience and sort of elevating her brand in that way. So she moved really quickly into retail. It sometimes takes brands years and years, and most brands never make it into a big store like Sephora. And to my point earlier, it surprised me that I had never heard of Ami Colé being in such a big store, a big retailer like Sephora. But then when I really think about it, it kind of makes sense. It kind of makes sense. It is incredibly expensive to be in retail. Let's just put it that way. And in order to be in retail, majority of companies need funding. A lot of funding can come from loans. It can come from VC investors, venture capital money. It can come from friends and family. It can come from angel investors. The difference is angel investors are pretty much just wealthy individuals who have passion projects and will invest in your business because they believe in you, they believe in the brand. A VC is like a venture capital. They work for a big corporation. These are people that are getting paid a salary. So the people who are vetting all of these companies themselves don't have a lot of money. They are bringing on companies and talents in hopes that it'll be like the next Apple, Uber, L'Oreal, whatever. And let me continue to play some music. And, they need to impress their bosses. So it is very different than an angel investor who's like, I'm taking this out of my pocket. I'm giving it to you. I believe in you. And a VC where they are all investors for the most part are looking for you to exit. Meaning you need to either sell your company, get acquired by a bigger company, or you're going to go IPO. You're going to be on the stock market. So if you're going to take, that kind of money, then you have to have a plan of exit. What do you want to do? Do you want to get acquired? Do you want to get acquired? Do you want to go public on the stock market? Like, what is it that you want to do? So all of the brands, like the Mayels and all of those kind of brands, they know this going into it. One of the craziest things about getting that kind of funding, hi Carolyn. One of the biggest fallbacks of getting that kind of funding is that the pressure is on. As soon as you get that money, you're on like a 7 to 10 year timeline where something big has to happen so that they can get their money back. And many times those investors are focused more on growth than they are in profit. But now the landscape is a little different where the bar is set even higher. Not only do they want growth, they want profit. Okay. I hope you're following me. Please ask questions if you don't understand something. I've been a founder for a year, but if you guys don't know me from my hair channel, I am the type of person that researches, okay? I'm a big researcher. I'm in 2 different business cohorts right now. I'm growing my own brand called Someday Sunday, and I enjoy learning, and I'm a learner and someone who also implements. I would love for my company to be in retail as well, so I'm pretty invested in these kinds of stories, especially as it comes to Black-owned brands. So, being in retail, I said earlier, is incredibly expensive. Not only do you have to fill usually a very large purchase order, like we're talking $500,000 sizes of purchase orders, meaning what's a purchase order? It is like an invoice in a way. It is like I'm the retailer, I'm Sephora, and I want you to launch in 200 stores. I need, 20,000 products, and I'm going to pay you, $400,000 to get them in my store, right? What you guys may not know behind the scenes is that means that bigger brands like Sephora, because they have such a following, they have a lot more leverage, they're going to take like off the top, like a 50 to 60% cut. Maybe if you're a celebrity brand, maybe you can work out a better deal, but they're taking like a 50 to 60% cut right off the top. So if you're selling this lip butter for $12, they're expecting to buy each unit for $6 or less, $5 or $6, right? So you're already getting that cut, right? But then as a founder, you have to somehow come up with all of the inventory, the raw materials, the packaging, the labor, all up front, and the brand will pay you probably net 60 to 90 days, depending on what their terms are. I've even heard up to 120 days. Meaning, say today I put in, July 1st, I put in, like I'm the retailer, I say, hey, I want to order, 20,000 lip butter. I give you something called a purchase order, which is proof that, hey, I'm going to pay you after you deliver the product in 60 days, right? That's net 60. So whatever your production time is, so like say it takes you 2 months to produce 20,000 units of lip butter, right? From your manufacturer, we're talking like bringing in raw material, bringing in packaging. So you're waiting for packaging from, let's say, Italy or China, and you're manufacturing it in the United States. And so you got to wait for Italy or India or China to give you the packaging. And then this is if you don't already have it like in stock, which most people wouldn't have that much in stock because storage fees, right? Then you have to spend the time formulating. So say like India takes a month and a half. They take 6 weeks to get all of these units to you, right? Then you need another 6 weeks to make everything. It could be 2 months. It depends on how big your operation is. And then you deliver it to Sephora when they say they need it. So Sephora says, it's July 1st and I need this in, 3 months. You guys negotiate and you're like, you need to have this order to us in 3 months. Sometimes it's shorter than that. And so you have to upfront all of the cost of the raw materials and all of the packaging, the labels, the labor, like paying people to do this, whether you are doing it yourself and you have your own team or you manufacture. And you somehow have to come up with this money. Like, I need 20,000 units worth of ingredients and raw material and like like all of this stuff. So maybe it's going to cost you, you know, because if they say they're getting a 50% discount, well, actually no, because you'll be making your profit. But say it's going to cost you, they're paying $400,000. They're paying you $400,000. Maybe it's going to cost you like $250,000 to produce all of this stuff to like through. Yeah, let's say it costs you $200,000 to $250,000 to produce this. You need that money some way, somehow. So many times people will like go the bank route, they'll go the VC route, they'll go, there's like certain companies that will kind of like back your purchase order, be like, okay, we know that Sephora is promising to pay within this deadline. I'm going to give you this $250,000 so that you can produce all of this, and you're going to pay me back when Sephora pays you plus interest. So there are companies that do that kind of thing, but many times founders, the CEO, whoever's in charge of production and all of that, well, it's really the CEO because they're in charge of the vision of the company and moving things forward. This is alcohol, by the way, 91%. And so normally you go to somebody who has money, a bank, a VC, an angel investor, which we already talked about the differences between those, and say, hey, like I have this order. Can you give me some money so that I can fill it so I don't lose this deal with Sephora? Hey, if you're here and you're enjoying the content, please be sure to like it. My name is LaToya Ebony. I am the founder of Someday Sunday, a plant-based vegan body care brand. And we're talking about Colé closing and the reason why she probably had to close. So go ahead and like this comment or this content. Trying to reset the room. Okay, I'm learning. Okay. So many times you go to a venture capital. So what are they looking for? They're looking for a piece of your company. So at the start of your company, if you're a solo founder, you own 100% of the company, right? In order to get money from other people, that's not a bank. So say you take money from an angel investor or you take money from a venture capitalist firm, they're going to want a piece of your company. So maybe they're like, we want 20% equity if we give you $250,000, or we take, 40% of your company. Like really, that's why Shark Tank, that show, like it's so interesting to me, but it kind of like, it sucks for a lot of people because they really are sharks. They give a kind of a small amount of money and they take a large amount of your company. So what they're expecting is if I lend you this $250,000, then you're going to return my investment within some of them say like 5 years, but within 5 to 10 years, you're going to give me this $250,000 back times 5 or times 10, depending on how, they value your company or whatever the deal is or whatever. So you end up as a company being in debt, right? To these investors, and you sort of started the clock of I need to sell my company, I need to get acquired by a company, or I need to go public. And there's only a very small percentage of companies, as you can see from the stock market, that actually are public. Like they got so big that, like Apple. Why do companies go public? Because they still need money. They still need money from the customers in a different way. Not like, hey, I'm selling you Starbucks or something, or I'm selling you a computer. But like they need more money on the back end to continue with their marketing efforts, to continue with their product development, to continue with overhead costs and labor and all of that stuff. Overhead costs being like the rent for your facilities, paying manufacturers, distributors, all that stuff, right? So they list their product on the stock market depending on whatever the valuation is. Like this company is worth $4 billion. And then that dictates what the cost of the like the piece of stock is on the stock market. and then people buy it. And the more people buy it, the more that the price goes up, and then people make money and all the things. I am not going to go into the stock market, but there was a period of time where I was obsessed with that. Okay. So now the majority of companies are on this like clock of, okay, we got to be super successful. Like we need to 10x our growth if we're going to take this money on. And so you go into retailers like Sephora, right? Like Target, like CVS, or whatever, you know, whatever company, retailer the brand goes into. And as a Black-owned brand like Colé, she gets $1 million, probably a little over $1 million for her company. And with that $1 million, she had to pay for that purchase order for Sephora, which we don't know how many hundreds of thousands of dollars that was. She has to pay any like fees that Sephora has for like shelf space, marketing efforts, distribution, or like for example, Amazon FBA, Amazon Fulfilled by Amazon, they charge you like a monthly fee to like be on, like to have a seller account. They charge you for shelf space or like storage space inside their manufacturing facility because they're fulfilling everything. They charge you per item you sell. And then if you have any marketing fees, like if you promote, I mean, if you participate in any of the promotions for Amazon, then they charge you for that as well. So I don't know all of the breakdown of everything for Sephora because I obviously am not in Sephora and I don't have all of that information. Some of it is probably like private information, IP or not IP, you know what I mean, NDA type. But from the founders that I've talked to who have gone into big box retail, like my company Someday Sunday is now in three different locations, but they're smaller businesses, right? They're like, it's a different ball game than going into Sephora into 200, 600 stores, right? I'm going to be in like 5 locations in Kansas City. It's very different than going into retail. Now, the company only has $1 million. They pay from their purchase order. They're paying for all the other fees, right? Mind you, Sephora has purchased their products at a discount already. So they already took a cut on their profit. And whatever money they have left over, they have to make that work for marketing, like brand awareness, sending product to influencers, trying to get on like all of these incredible favorites lists, investing in their team, growing their team, maybe investing in facilities or investing in manufacturers. Like all of this is supposed to be done on $1 million when half of it was already taken by the retailer. Now, obviously, the retailer is going to pay you that money back, but many times there are things like chargebacks, like maybe you shipped something and it wasn't in, like you made a small mistake in how you labeled something, or like whatever the case may be, they start actually like taking away from what they were meant to pay you. So say Sephora was like, I'm going to pay you $400,000. And then they're like, oh, but you made all of these little mistakes, which of course could happen if you're a first time founder. And now the check that you were expecting of $400,000 is now like $350,000. Y'all. So now you're in debt with an investor. You aren't getting all of the money that you, and I'm not saying this is Ami Colé's situation. I'm just saying like how difficult it is. And with Ami Colé, with Diadia, she only got invested in once in 2020. One time. Meanwhile, a lot of like these other brands have gotten invested in like they've gone through like 2, 3, 4 rounds of funding. They've gotten millions of dollars. And so she's having to do everything off of $1 million, which sounds like a lot to a regular person, like, you know, an everyday person that's probably only making like, what's the average income in the United States? It's like anywhere from 20 to like 40, maybe $50,000 per household. Like $1 million sounds like a lot of money, but think about you having to cover the cost of all the things, plus you're like covering the cost of your team. So everybody's getting $40,000 a year from you, or more, or 80, depending on how like senior they are, $150,000, $200,000. It really depends. Because if you have somebody who's coming in from L'Oreal, who's been like the VP of blah, 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 in your company, they're expecting to get paid a lot more. But you're expecting to, when you hire them, get like 5x what you pay them. Like it doesn't always work out that way. But anyway, I feel like I'm going all over the place. It kind of breaks my heart because she talked about in the article that they kind of struggled. You know, they get like a bump in sales when like an influencer would shout them out. Or I don't know if these were paid partnerships. I don't know if these were like for free or whatever, or just someone happened to come across their brand. But she would get a bump from someone talking about the products, but then they would have trouble moving inventory. Now, this is not like something that's not perishable. Makeup is perishable. Makeup generally at the highest shelf life has like 2 years. Right? Usually, that's like generally speaking, right? The longer it sits on the shelf, the bigger of a problem it is. So it's interesting too. You also end up in this dichotomy, right? Where you hope that customers support you in retail, kind of like what's happening with Target right now, where like no one wants to shop at Target, right? Because of them rolling back their DEI initiatives. And it's particularly, let me not get into that. Because you are hoping that as a founder that your brand has enough pull to bring people in the stores and move things off the shelf. But you're already kind of got paid for that stuff. So really it's like you just need it to be successful so that the Sephora's, the retailer, can put in another order with you. They're like, oh my God, the last drop was so successful, or the launch was so successful, we sold out of all of these stores. Let's put in another order for another. This time, instead of doing a $400,000 purchase order, we're gonna do 8. And let's see how it goes. And then like your position on the shelf moves from like either like a sliver of a space, it expands, or it like moves up towards eye level. So like premium shelf space is like eye level, like, you know, you're walking down the aisle, like those products that are like eye level with you are the products that are doing really well at Sephora, at Nordstrom, at Target, at Walmart. And then if there's like a newer brand or a brand that like typically can't afford the marketing for whatever reason, even if they have an amazing product, they're usually like on the lower shelves. And then as you get more popular, as the customers are buying more and more of your stuff, then your product will move up and up the shelf, or you'll start getting bigger and bigger retail space, which retailers will kind of like look at your their like planogram, which is like a blueprint of what's on the shelf, and they'll be like, we're willing to give Ami Colé like this much space. We're willing to give her like, you know, like 8 inches of space. And then you as the founder have to decide, okay, what are my best sellers, you know, and really do that negotiation. So anyway, the conversation is really interesting because a lot of people are sort of like blaming the customers for not going in and buying enough of the product. And oh, I never finished my thought of like why there's this weird dichotomy. So you've already been paid for the inventory, you're inside Sephora, Nordstrom, whatever, and you want people to go buy it so that they can place another order. Meanwhile, your D2C, like the sales that you make on your website actually make you more money. So there are many reasons why people want to go into retail, and a lot of it has to do with like prestige of the brand, and having access to that brand's loyal customer, right? There are so many reasons too. Like you would choose a specific retailer based off of your product. Like for example, Sunday is probably not going to do well in Walmart, because if the buyers of Walmart are looking to buy body cream for $5, like I cannot, with the quality and level of how I'm doing everything, like I wouldn't be able to afford to lower my price to that. So I'm looking at like a Nordstrom or a Sephora or a Neiman Marcus or something like that, where the customer is expecting to pay the worth of the product, right? So, now you've got a brand, like a wonderful brand like Colé, that has a limited budget in comparison to all of these other brands who are getting like so much money invested in them. Let me make sure that I'm not gonna lock my thing. And you're trying to like make it work off of what you have. So then you have influencers and all these people who like never even knew about your brand because you couldn't afford to pay for advertising. And a lot of people will blame the customer, like you guys should have bought more, you guys should have da. And the reality is that yeah, some of it is on the customer for not continuing to make products like a part of their routine, but it's really about the bigger issue, and that's lack of funding, because a lot of these brands are not even profitable yet. A lot of these like beauty brands are not really profitable yet. They are constantly getting money pumped into them to someday be profitable. And if you don't have that influx of money coming in every year or so, then you're not going to make it, for the most part. Now, what it does for a founder like me, looking at all of this, being like, y'all, I seriously don't, the investor landscape sounds scary as hell to me, especially as someone who's like, you have a vision for your brand, and then you get investors that come in, they give you money, and then they're like, well, we want to tell you what to do with your brand. So sometimes you can lose the soul of your brand by getting investment, but then sometimes you're at a bit of a disadvantage because you don't have generational wealth to pull from. And so you have to depend on these brands to like fund you, these investors to fund you. My Lord, my God, on today. With the lip butter, after it's sanitized, leveled off, and all the things, then what I do is I go ahead and I make the tops as smooth as possible with a heat gun. And I have to be really careful with not overheating this, because it can very much melt the top of the packaging, which is plastic. A lot of work goes into this, you guys. I'm not going to do all of these on camera. There's like 66 of them. A lot of work, but a lot of love goes into making these. So what I am heat gunning, so the product that I'm heat gunning right now is called Pineapple Sunrise. And Pineapple Sunrise is, this one, many customers have said it smells like pina colada. And so it has like this pineapple, coconut, like creamy coconut, mango scent to it. And these go on very smooth. Those of you who have ever purchased a lip butter from my website, let the people know. let the people know how good these are. They're shea butter base. They're infused with hyaluronic acid, and hyaluronic acid is a humectant that draws moisture to your skin, to your lips. You usually hear about humectants in hair care products for dryness, right? So this has a humectant called hyaluronic acid, so that your lips are not dry and crusty. So I was very intentional about how I formulated this. Let me know if you can't hear me over this heat gun. I was very intentional about how this was formulated because, one, I hate when balms are waxy. Ew. Ew. They don't feel hydrating. They're like, they just sit on the surface of your lips and you're like it just does nothing for you. So I don't like that, right? So I kept that in mind when I was formulating. I also kept in mind that I wanted these to be vegan so that any and everyone could use this, enjoy it. So I don't use beeswax. I use sunflower wax. It's also infused with castor oil, which is one of my favorite oils. Castor oil is a really great oil for emollients, it's a thicker oil. It has like a bunch of benefits, like hair growth benefits and all this stuff, right? But for lips, like it kind of like aids in keeping it put without using so much wax. That makes it really weird and waxy. There's also vitamin E, like a high strength vitamin E, so that these don't oxidize. They last a lot longer. Shelf life right now, from what I'm counting, is about a year. Let me see. So in order to like properly test shelf life, obviously you can do accelerated testing through a lab, but the other way is to like just let it sit and keep testing it. Hi, Carrie. Hi, Judith. Hi, Supergirl 7. How y'all doing? I've been on for a while talking about the Colé situation. If you are new to my channel, my name is LaToya Ebony. I'm the founder and CEO of Someday Sunday. We just did a launch of Pineapple Sunrise as well as a lavender. So Pineapple Sunrise body cream, Pineapple Sunrise lip butter, lavender lemonade lip butter, and all of our lip butters in stick form on our website, somedaysunday.co. So I wonder if I could put that like kind of in the chat so that you guys can go check out our website, because as we're learning from the Colé situation, we, especially all of us indie brands, need all of the help that we can get. But also, you know, I honestly am not interested in people only supporting me just because I'm a Black-owned brand. No, the product has to be quality. Customer service has to be quality. And that I really try to give. So that being said, Colé situation, I definitely placed an order because I know she's got bills to pay, even though she's closing. I bought 2 of her lip butter oil, or 2 of her lip oils and her setting spray. I did not invest in her foundations or her tinted moisturizers or whatever they're called because there's like, I'd have to go to a Sephora to get my shade and all that stuff. So I just did the 2 lip products and a setting powder because I would like to support her. And, you know, it's really important for brand owners like Diaria Diaria? I don't know. I wish I could. She's Senegalese. And I try to respect people's names, so I hope I'm saying that right. I really appreciate brilliant founders like her for speaking up about how unfair and also just how hard it is being a Black beauty founder in a space where funding is just not readily available for us. My company, Someday Sunday, is self-funded, so I basically took my life savings to start this company. And I have just, every time I make money, it goes right back into the business. I am at the point of wanting to hire my first like part-time employee, like very, very part-time, because I need help. I cannot do all of this myself. And this launch has been insane. I am making a video, but based on the amount of time that I have, like it's so hard to keep you guys updated on everything that has happened. So let's talk about tariffs and hold on. The challenges that Someday Sunday has had this year within their first year of launching, which when I say they, I mean my first year of launching a brand. So earlier this year, I need light. We need light. We need light. Let me hold on. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about this. I'm in my first year, or I just completed my first year of having Someday Sunday. You may have seen this on a short where I talk about all of the amazing accomplishments that have happened this year. Let me make sure I can see the chat. Can I see that? I can't see the chat. Ciao. Why did this stop? Let me see the chat. Oh, Judith says there's no way you can maintain and grow your business alone. You definitely need help. Exactly. Exactly. So that is a whole other story, girl. We've done amazing things in this first year, specifically in Kansas City. And this launch, this year has been so challenging, you guys. So let's just talk about, there's small business and then there's like micro business like mine, where I'm hand making everything. I am like reinvesting back into my own inventory, my own raw ingredients. Like I'm doing every job. I have interns. I have a few interns, like one long-term intern and two that just left, and one I think anyway. I have a few interns and it's me. So I'm doing all of the pop-ups. I'm making all the products. I'm at the retail space if my interns are not there. I'm making all the connections. I'm answering all the emails. I'm in 2 business cohorts right now. Like there's just so much happening, and it's making it really difficult for me to market my brand. You would think, oh, you're an influencer, la da da, like this should be super easy. And it's not that filming the content is hard. It is having the time to edit and post the content. And so I'm a lot more active on social media than I am on YouTube, because YouTube is long form and it just takes a lot more thought. I'm gonna keep talking while I grab some of the tops for these lip butter. And so imagine being like a small brand with limited funds, because literally every dollar you make goes right back into your business. Hey, Vinci. So I don't really have like a marketing budget. I need this to be perfect. Hold on. Yes, we're gonna do these over again. Yes, yes, sweetie. You want to show me something?
What does this say?
I don't know. Whip Not Final Game Pass? I don't know what WIP. That's not really a word.
It says, I think it says whip don't coins.
I love that you're reading. That's my son, guys. Come here. Say hello. Hi.
Are a lot of people commenting right now?
There's like 4 people on right now. But later people are going to watch this. Mm-hmm. Look at my video and see how much likes I got. Okay. So let's talk about the craziness of this year. Under our new administration, tariffs went freaking wild. Okay, wild. Here's one. Hey, you're staying in here? Okay, can you put your headphones on, please? Yeah, but I don't know if they're going to be playing music that I can't have playing on YouTube. So just get your headphones, okay, sweetie? Okay, so basically, even if you manufacture in the United States, even if you manufacture everything yourself like I do, except for I don't manufacture the packaging, the cost of everything has gone up. If you're importing anything like the packaging, like I do, from overseas, then you had to deal with these surprise tariffs. And then all of the costs of your raw materials went up. So many brands have kind of been forced to raise their prices in order to meet the demand, in order to pay for these tariffs. So what's been happening is not only do you have to pay the insanely high shipping fee from shipping something from overseas, you now have to you now get taxed for shipping from overseas. And the complication for smaller brands or many brands, even the larger legacy brands, is that there are a lot of things that are just not made in the United States. Like I remember this one brand was talking about zippers and how hard it is to find like a good zipper manufacturer in the United States. Not only that, it's so incredibly expensive because, you know, whereas in China you can pay, like, I'm just gonna throw a number out there, 50 cents per zipper. In America you're paying $5. Like that's how drastic it can be. And then like international trade is just so ingrained in, like, shea butter is not made in the United States. So even if I manufacture in the United States, my raw material is coming from somewhere else. It's coming from Africa, it's coming from Asia, you know, certain parts of Europe. Like there's so many different components. And so, you know, it's not as simple as just manufacture everything in the United States. Some things just simply they're just not available here. And so what's been happening is a lot of brands have had to raise their prices. Sunday, like we have not raised our prices. I need to like reevaluate sort of like where we're at now, like in terms of how much it costs us to make each thing, and are there certain products that do need a raise or not. But I just so don't want to do that I've just kind of stalled on it, because as a young brand, it's really important for us to have like visibility. Like we need as many people as possible to like try our stuff. And skincare in general is really difficult because it's not like makeup where you can like have an influencer swipe a color on their lips, see the color pay off, see it on different skin tones, and that will inform the consumer buying it. You know, they're like, oh, okay, I think I can do that shade. You know, foundation is a lot harder, but you know what I'm saying? With skincare, really we are dependent on reviews. Like when you buy a product, like doing a review, we're really dependent on like influencers out of the kindness of their heart posting about your brand. And then, you know, many of you may think, hey, if you're here, like the video so other people can get notified that I'm live. But if you are, you know, you might be wondering like, LaToya, well, you're an influencer, you have a whole channel that has over 100,000 followers. Like, can't you do your own marketing? And that is a plus if you're someone who has a following that is building a brand. Your first customers are typically your audience, but not everybody in your audience is your customer. Also, I sort of like I have a beauty channel, but it's not necessarily a skincare channel. It's more hair care. So that creates like another layer of difficulty, but also I don't have the time to post the way that I used to post. So I kind of really am dependent on other people to like, either other people to talk about it or like the pop-ups. So I make the majority of my money at pop-ups. And again, way easier to sell in person skincare than it is online. Because online, customers have to come on, they have to, like, you're selling through your product pictures, your product photography, you're selling through the product descriptions, you're selling through, like, the customer's informed through the reviews, any videos that you post on social media, and they're sort of like taking a chance on you, right? they're taking a chance because they are not there to feel how amazing the products feel. Shout out to anyone who has, yes, TA Co. Ame Colé is closing in September. And I just, like, at the beginning of this, I did like a whole dissection of why that is happening based off of her article on The Cut and some interviews that I've heard, as well as what I just know about the industry. So what I will do is I will repost this video afterwards so that you can like hear all about that. So back to me. I had a marketing budget. Well, not a marketing budget. That's stretching it. I had a photography budget. And tariffs literally just ate that all up. Ate it up, honey. Ate it up. Unexpected, all the things. So now I can afford my amazing photographer who deserves to get paid. Also, I'm like having to reformulate the fragrance for Pineapple Sunrise, and it's pushing back my launch date because the first time I formulated the fragrance and I'm looking into the documents, I noticed that some of the compounds had California's Prop 65, had compounds that are listed on California's Prop 65 list, which is a list of potentially toxic or cancerous compounds or ingredients. And obviously, like, I mean, if you really know about it, you have to like consume it or like use it at such a high amount for it to actually make a difference. But I don't want to take any risk. So I like had to reformulate. And then that sort of like pushed the timeline of the product photography. Tariffs took all of the photography money. There was just so many challenges. Because this launch was actually supposed to happen like in June. I wanted it to happen on my birthday, like at the turn of summer. So the launch is actually very late because of all of these complications and all of these extra things I had to pay for. I thought I was gonna have to take the photos myself. So then I'm at this pop-up, and this beautiful Black woman comes up to me and she's like, I've been following you, and I would love to shoot for your brand. I'm trying to build my portfolio, blah, blah, blah. I took a look at her photos. She's like, I tried to send you a message, but Instagram does this weird thing that if you're not following or you have, sometimes it hides their people's messages into a folder. So she literally like came to this event to meet me in person and say like, I absolutely love your brand. I want to build my portfolio. I would love to like do a shoot for you for free and potentially we could work together. And that was such a blessing because Silkia of Silk Studios did a phenomenal job. Did a phenomenal job on the photos. And it was such a blessing because I really thought, okay, I got to get this all together. And, you know, I'm not a professional photographer. I have a lot of equipment, but I'm not a professional. I invested my time in other things. And so, yes, it really was awesome. Like, it was kind of a miracle. I feel like God be looking out. God be looking out. Because I was like, God, I don't know how I'm going to do this. I mean, I know how I'm going to do it. I'm going to get this little light box. I'm going to just take some basic photos and put it up there and just pray that people still want to buy. But she approached me and it was so amazing. So I always try to give God the glory. And hey, what's going on? You're trying to make your own peanut butter and jelly sandwiches? Okay, I'll just put new gloves on. Okay, come here. You got a plate and everything. You have so make sure you get your stool and you do what you need to do. Okay? Okay.
I could just use the chairs.
No, you're going to get your stool so you don't fall off the chair, okay?
I don't fall off.
Throw this away.
I can't fall off.
I need you to be safe and use your stool, okay? You understand? I don't want to hear no chairs moving. He's getting to be such a big boy. Look at God. Exactly. So that was a testimony. Also, you guys, a publicist came into my life. And now this is something I'm going to be talking about probably more in depth on the upcoming YouTube videos. I have two, I think I want to split it up into like launching this collection and then what happened after launch, which technically is what's happening now. My battery keeps dying, so I can't even like film what's happening now. But publicist came into my life. Let me tell you guys how this happened. My husband, hopefully you guys can hear me. My husband has been friends with this woman who, at the time when they met, she was sort of like climbing up the ranks of being a publicist. And hold on. And they met. He did some design work for her, and they kept in touch for like 15 years. Can you guys hear me? They kept in touch for like 15 years. Can you still hear me over this? And what the heck? I need you to close that door. What? Oh man, I just changed my gloves. All right, come on. Okay, this is why I wear a mic. This is what it's like having a child. And I don't like food in my office because I'm working with product. I'm working with people's products, and I do not want crumbs. So make sure you eat out there. Do not come in here, okay? You know the rules. No food in the lab. Yeah. No food in the lab. Okay, here you go. You like that? Love you.
This is basically your office.
Yeah, my office is my lab. He's like, this is basically your office. Okay, great. I love that you guys can hear me. This is why I have a mic. Thanks, babe, for buying this for Christmas. So this is why I get a big box. You know the feeling, right? Having a kid, running a business, having a husband that's out of town in Seattle because he's also running his business and taking charge of all of his opportunities. So let's talk about this publicist. They've known each other for 15 years, and she's sort of like climbed up the ranks, working with celebrities and all these things, building up all of her contacts. I think at this point she had like kind of took a break, and then she's coming back on the scene and all this stuff. Well, anyway, Jay had shared my brand on LinkedIn, and we have, oh my God, he shared my brand, and she was like, wow, I really like this brand. Wow. Like I she put it in the back of her mind that she wanted to connect with me. And she ends up talking to another one of Jay's friends who happens to be like a celebrity singer. I don't feel comfortable comfortable like name dropping. So, but really, really amazing person. We went to his wedding and all of this. It was really beautiful. He's just like a really great person. Anyway, they were talking because I think she does some publicity work for him. And let me fix this. And I happened to come up randomly in their conversation. And I'm like I've never met this person. I've never met this woman, like, but she just said, like, I feel like God is telling me I need to work with her. And so, look at God. And then, so then she reaches out to Jay, and Jay is thinking, oh, she needs some kind of design work or something like that, And she's like, no, actually, I want to meet your wife. I saw that she has this brand, and I'm really drawn to it. I don't know why. I just felt like a whisper from God that I'm supposed to work with her. And so we had a conversation on the phone. The conversation lasted like a little over an hour. We really connected, and she's now my publicist, and she's working essentially for free until something happens, right? She's like, I know you're a new brand. I know that, all of these things. And she's willing to put in the work and connect me with all of these like publications and things like that. So we just started working together. I don't know how it's going to work out, but some really exciting potential things on the horizon. And I just feel like God has been just providing for me throughout this entire journey. There are plenty of things that, have not like panned out the way I thought that they were going to. Things that are like incredibly difficult and hard, especially being someone who's just crossed a year in business. I'm learning very fast. It's like you took the leap of faith and you're building the airplane on the way down. Like, I've moved very fast. If those of you are not like familiar with my channel or my story, had this idea in January of last year. Within 7 months, I had a brand and I was launching and doing my first pop-up. All of these opportunities for doing pop-ups started coming out the woodwork, all of which I have filmed. I just never posted. By the way, how do you guys feel about like me posting old content? Because someone kind of complained and I was like, but this is my journey. Like, I want to keep sharing it. Like, even though the footage is old, if you're invested in the story, I feel like you still want to see what happened and how I got there. It's so rare that I fully anticipate that Someday Sunday will be a global brand. And I feel like it's so rare to see, I'm putting in the universe, successful companies like from the start. And so I hold on to all of this footage, even though I don't have time to like post it, because I'm like, I want people to see, like, I want to be reminded of how I started too. Anyway, do you guys still want to see this content? All the pop-ups, all of my do you guys still want to see that? What I'm planning on doing is posting the most relevant content first. So 2 videos like all about this particular launch, and hopefully it will boost like people checking out the website and wanting to place an order at somedaysunday.co. Because obviously as a small brand, yes, I need the support, but yes, the products are incredible. So this lip butter goes on super smooth. It's lightweight. It's not greasy. It's not sticky. Oh, it's greasy. It's a shea butter. It's buttery, but it doesn't feel like cooking oil or something like that. The scents are so amazing. There's something called Jasmine Lullaby, which is like a lavender jasmine. There's a vanilla. There is Pineapple Sunrise, which I just launched as an unscented version at your request. There's a lot. Cedar Sanctuary, which is our top seller, is like a clean woodsy scent. And all of the body creams brighten, tighten, and hydrate the skin using plant-based ingredients. Everything is vegan. All of the fragrance is non-toxic. I really was intentional about this brand. It comes in these beautiful glass jars. Like, check out my website down below so that I don't have to keep getting up to show you guys. But basically, I put my heart and soul into this brand, and I know how nerve-wracking it is to like take a chance on a brand, especially at a higher price point. But I hope that if you do happen to be in the market for a body cream, then Jennifer says she's posting content from April, so she thinks it's fine. Girl, some of this content is from like September of last year. Yes, I'm in other locations now. I have the retail space. I'm in the American Jazz Museum. I'm at the Black Pantry / Karma Coffee, and we're getting into Made in KC. I just placed a purchase order, so I have all of that footage, all of everything, and how it all happened, and all of that in like a couple terabytes worth of footage. And I seriously, I want to post it for me, but I also want to post it for you. I think these are the only ones I'm going to do on camera because it is such a long process. Now, each product, when I make them, after doing that process, if you don't move, I have a notebook where I write all of like my batch numbers and anything that happens with the batch, the date, and I also like transcribe it digitally as well. So Let's do, we need pineapple sunrise. No. This one is the one I just did, which was pineapple sunrise lip butter. 07 25 15. That is the batch number. So each one has a batch number. Each batch number has notes. 1 second. 12. No, no, no. No, no, no. Because that is actually for a different, okay. So what we're gonna do then is 12. So basically this entire section is wasted. I'm gonna have to go in and reprint because the batch number is actually not, it's actually 072515, not 12. So I actually wrote that in wrong. And so I need to, yeah. Okay, we're gonna take care of that. Okay, so what I'm gonna do then is put these to the side so that I can fix the batch number, and I'm gonna do the batch numbers for the other products that are already kind of set, all set. Let me put these over here. Meanwhile, what you guys probably don't see, what you won't see is that I have like a whole setup happening. I have a whole setup happening on this other side with body cream. So, oh my God, this launch is crazy. It's been a little bit wild. My intention was to start shipping things out today. I was in Florida on a pre-planned trip. So mind you, the launch was supposed to happen at the end of June. I wanted it to be on my birthday, right? Then we had all these setbacks with either the formulation or not having money for the photographer, other things that were just happening. It was a little bit insane. Then once we got the photographer, things moved very quickly, and she was able to like take these photos very quickly, like within the span of a week. But I had to finalize the formula, I had to do a lot so that she was prepared. And I had already planned a trip for this weekend to like take a break, be with my best friend. My best friend has never met my son before. And so he got to be like in Florida doing all the things, and I started working on social media content. All of these products were ready, but then I got a purchase order from Made in KC that depleted my stock. And so I was working on that all last week up until leaving to Florida, and then working on a couple batches so that I could be prepared for launch. And not only did the purchase order take some product, but the majority of the product, I had a market, a pop-up in Omaha, and I sold out of all of the Pineapple Sunrise collection. So here we are making more stuff so that the people who ordered have stuff. So I wanted to start shipping out yesterday. However, as we're flying back from our connection flight from Atlanta to Kansas City, there's bad weather. And so we get delayed and all the things. And so it kind of pushed me back a day. So now I'm catching up. And so today I actually should be done. Like all of my batches are done. I'm like pouring and labeling. And tomorrow I'm actually probably going to do another live stream, maybe I might do one here on YouTube, since you guys, it's your orders and just like packing orders. But that means that today I have to finish everything tonight. So that being said, I want to open up the floor for you guys to ask questions, whether as a founder for Someday Sunday, my life, like whatever it is that you have questions about, like when's my order coming? Did you get my order? Like, I don't care. You guys can ask all of your questions. Judith, I have your order and I'm going to try to ship that out tomorrow. And if it doesn't go out tomorrow, it's going out Thursday. So between Wednesday and Thursday, I'm like shipping the majority of the orders out. And thank you so much for continuing to invest in, I want to say this is like your 4th order. Judith is Cheshire DJ here in the comments. And she's like one of my #1 commenters. She came all the way from Chicago to see me at my retail location. That is support. I mean, I'm pretty sure I'm not the only reason why you were in Kansas City, but you made it a point to take time out to come and see me, and that means a lot to me, so I appreciate it. And you have literally placed an order like consistently. So if you have anything to say to the people about the quality of the products, you just talk too much. What do you mean you talk too much? Those of you who are in here who have tried the products and all the things, chime in. Definitely chime in and let the people know what you think about the products, because I can only say so much as the founder, because like it's my brand. Of course, I'm going to think it's amazing. You know, I really rely on you guys to just be honest with the people and also be honest with me so that I can always improve. Let me show you guys what I have going on over here. This is the messy side. You guys see my equipment, you see my body cream. Let me go ahead and grab some aluminum foil now that everything is done mixing. And I'm gonna like cover this so that we keep it nice and sanitary. Though I do sanitize all of the equipment. So I cleanse the equipment. I rinse with regular water, then I rinse again with distilled water. Then I put it in sanitizing solution called Steramine, and then I air dry, and then I spray everything with alcohol before I use it. So it may look messy, but we make sure that we're keeping you safe. Let me think. I'm supposed to be grabbing lip butter. So let me go grab those bags so I can properly label those batch numbers. And if you guys have any questions, think about them. I'll be back in like 10 seconds, okay? I'll be back in like 10 seconds. Oh my goodness. Let me make sure that I'm grabbing the right ones. So we have Clean Slate that I'm grabbing. We have Vanilla Embrace. We have a few Lavender Lemonade. Let me make sure I grab that Clean Slate as well. And I'm headed back to the office. We're back to the lab. Back to the lab. Any questions thus far? So batch numbers, why they are important, why expiration dates are important. If you guys don't have any questions, let me make sure. So, batch numbers. Basically, it's an indicator. It's like the serial number of the product. It's like an indicator of like that number connects me to my notes, and it lets me know like which raw materials are in that particular product. What are those batch numbers? Like, for example, if I'm using like shea butter, coconut oil, and vitamin E, I have to document the batch number of each of those raw ingredients that go into this one product. And then all of those ingredients, I have my own batch number that leads me, it's like breadcrumbs. It leads me back to the notes about what happened during that batch. So why is this important? If for whatever reason, you know, one of my suppliers does a recall on ingredients and they're like, hey, you know, this shea butter, you know, there's a known blah, blah, blah with it. If you've been using this shea butter, then you need to recall your products because X, Y, and Z. That's how recalls happen. Then I can go back to my notes, which these will eventually be digital, which most of them are already, and be like, did any of my products include this raw material or this raw ingredient that had this particular batch number? So that protects me, that protects you, that keeps everybody safe. And you only go through reputable suppliers so that you have the documentation for all of that. Now, before I read your question, I just need to find the batch number for this lavender lemonade. Lavender lemonade lip butter, which is, hold on, lavender lemonade, that would be 0725004. And this is the first time I'm using a sheet like this. I got these off of Amazon and they are clear, they're matte. And I actually had to, did I not write those in there? Oh yeah, there they are, I had to like print this out like regular, like normally I use a batch gun to do all of my batch numbers, but this time I had to like type things in and all the things. So this is just a new experience because my batch gun probably could print this small, but I don't think I could steady it. Yes? That's it you're eating? That's all you're gonna eat today? Just two? Okay, that's good.
I didn't know I made another one.
You knew you made another one, but you didn't know you weren't going to be hungry?
I mean, I ate two.
You ate, so you made 3 of them?
Yeah.
Ooh, chow. Can you get a baggie and put that one in so you can save it for later in case you get hungry later? Okay. So on each of your products, I don't know if you guys can see this, but there's going to be a batch number and an expiration date. So that tells you as the consumer, the batch number won't mean anything to you, but the expiration date will be important. The lip butter has a 1-year shelf life, and so does the body cream. So I do this to keep everybody safe. Now, I think somebody had a question. Is the pineapple scent just going to be seasonal, or will you make new permanent scents? Pineapple Sunrise is going to be permanent, I believe, because I don't actually have a... I cannot open it because I am not changing my gloves again. You can do it. Pineapple Sunrise, I think, is going to be a part of the core collection because I don't have like a tropical or a citrus. I don't really have like that sort of scent. So we've got Cedar Sanctuary, Clean and Woodsy. We've got Jasmine Lullaby, which is a lavender jasmine. We have Vanilla Embrace, which is vanilla with an almond blossom undertone. We have Clean Slate, which is unscented. We have another one that is not on the website yet called Big Blue Dream Cream, which is a collaboration with my husband and his children's book called Big Blue. That is going to be on the site eventually. I'm just working with my husband on like how, like what he wants to do with the photography for that because it is a collaboration. We've taken photos, but they have to be edited and all and we're still working out like the back end of how to do a collaboration. And that one is like a clean linen kind of floral scent. So long way to say that it is going to be permanent unless it just does not sell. Like if people say they hate it, which that has not been the case. We, like I said, sold out at our last event, but also it is, I mean, it's summertime right now. People like Pineapple Sunrise smells like, that body cream smells like a tropical fruity drink by the poolside with your best friends. It is pineapple, mango, passion fruit, a splash of lemon, coconut. And that's the scent that, like, I feel like the fellas are gonna like on the girls. On the girls, on the ladies. But also everyone who smells it is like, oh my God, this is so good. I need this. I need this in my life. And that makes me feel very, very good. I feel like at this point, I'm kind of rambling. If there are any more questions, if you're here, go ahead and like the video so that, you know, I know you're enjoying it and also other people can be notified. I'm kind of just like working at this point. I don't know if you guys want to watch me do this because I have to do it anyway, but I'm just getting the work in. So I tend to put one sticker down on the bottom and then another sticker on top so that it doesn't like wash away or anything. I learned my lesson with that on my very first batch. That's what they look like. Clean slate. This is the scent-free version, flavor-free. Can you all hear the music? Oh, by the way, I don't know if I told you all. There's a discount on the Pineapple Sunrise collection, like the gift set. If you get, it's a gift set that includes, it's like more of a bundle that includes a lip butter, the jar version of the same lip butter that you can put on your nightstand, and a 3-ounce body cream. The code is Paradise15. So you can get 15% off of that gift set if you go to sundaysunday.co. And I do that just like as a little gift to you guys for following and always supporting. And also, if you just haven't tried the brand out before and you want to try it, it's a good opportunity for you to get that 15% off of the collection. Oh, we did these. Good stickers. I also always keep a little sample of every batch, just so that I can keep testing the product and the shelf life. And so every single product, every batch I make, I keep a little sample so that I can keep tabs on everything. Normally this is when I catch up on my Netflix shows. So I'm gonna save this for the batch. And we're gonna make that one a sample. I tend to, when I do batches, when I have like a little bit of leftover, I will make little samples and I will include them in orders so that I try to do my best to look through and see what people have purchased before so that I can give them a sample of something they haven't tried. But Judith, you hard because you buy everything. Okay, so that's going to be a sample. That's going to be the batch. This one is 72506. Let me find that. It's right there. This is Vanilla Embrace stick. This is what it looks like. It's hard to see, I guess, with the lighting. Okay, she said she's gonna run. I need to make a call. It was great seeing you. Bye. I'll have your order out this week. Not you stopping the music. I am pretty much done talking. So if you just want to watch me, I'm gonna go live again, I think tomorrow, but maybe on Instagram or TikTok, where I'm actually packing orders. I was gonna go live again while I like poured body cream, but I think I want to watch some Netflix instead of being on live stream. Yep, right there. I'm so mad that I messed up on that batch number. I mean, I'm not that mad. This is why I double, triple check everything. So I think I'm gonna end the live stream here. I'm gonna leave this up for you all to get my thoughts on the whole Ame Colé situation, as well as how crazy this launch has kind of been. And I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. In the live. That was a long one.